Hello, my name is Father Josh McCarty. I'm the Associate Pastor at Blessed Mother Catholic Church here in Owensboro, Kentucky. And I'm pleased to share with you just a little reflection on the importance that we play in the way that God bears fruit in our lives, bears fruit in our families, bears fruit in our church. We heard a few weeks ago in the Gospel, this is from the Gospel of St. Matthew, Jesus proposed another parable to the crowds, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a man who sowed good seed in his field. While everyone was awake, the enemy came and sowed weeds all through the wheat, and then went off. When the crop grew and bore fruit, the weeds appeared as well. The slaves of the householder came to him and said, 'Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from?' He answered, 'An enemy has done this.' His slave said to him, 'Do you want us to go and pull them up?' He replied, 'No, if you pull it up, you might uproot the wheat along with the weeds. Let them grow together until the harvest. And then at the harvest time, I will say to the harvesters, first collect the weeds and then tie them in bundles for burning. But gather the wheat into my barn.'" The Gospel of the Lord. The Lord calls us to bear fruit in our lives. From the book of Genesis through the book of Revelation, the Lord is speaking of the gifts that He gives us which must bear fruit, which must give life. And this fruit must take root in a number of different ways. The most particular way where we must bear fruit is through the faith and the life of our family members. Now, of course, being that you at St. Pius, being parents, mothers, and fathers of young children, as you try to raise them up in the faith, you understand the importance of giving what is good, that their lives may be rich and their lives may be full, and that your children may make good decisions and be formed well, both in their faith, in morality, and in wisdom. And in particular, we must work to raise our children well. I'm sure that many of you are concerned about your children's faith. And so the studies tell us that in order to cultivate, to grow this fruit of faith in our young people, that there are four main things that we need to do. The first thing is that we need to help to make sure that our children are praying each day, which means to take time to think about God and to maybe read the scriptures, to read a little bit from the lives of the saints. This is an important way to help our children grow, that they think about God each day. We also need to work to make sure that our children make it to Mass each week, so that they can learn about the faith, that they can worship in the community of prayer, and that's so that they can come to know the teachings of the church and what God has in store for them. The third piece is that for our children to grow in the faith, the studies tell us that they need to be involved in a particular way in the parish life, to be involved in some sort of a group. It could be religious education, or it could be a youth group. But it's important that our children be a part of a group in our own parish, so that they can feel a part of things. But the fourth thing is by far the most important of all these four pieces. And the fourth piece in bearing good fruit in our children and raising our children well and passing on the faith to them is far more significant than the other three. Do you know what it is? The most significant piece, says the research, in the way that our children grow up in the faith is not anything that they're doing. The most significant piece in your children's faith formation is your faith, the faith of their parents. Now that's good news and bad news. It's bad news because it means that you have to change, that you have to cultivate your own faith and your own worship of God. It's good news because it's something that you can do. It's something that you can do. Changing another person is not something that we can do, but to change ourselves is doable. And so I just encourage you, parents, that as you seek, as you hunger for children that are holy and well raised, that you would first come to the Lord, that you would fulfill your weekly obligation to worship the Lord and give thanks for all the gifts in your life, so that the fruit that you bear, so that the seeds that God has planted in you and in your children may grow well, and that we may fulfill God's call for us to bear fruit, to bear bountiful fruit, to bear good fruit.